Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum CS Pro users. Tutorial on how to restore data from backup. In this tutorial, we will learn how to restore data files from a backup folder either all at once or one at a time. Please see my previous tutorial on how to create a data backup before proceeding with this tutorial. The URL is provided in the description box. Please keep in mind that when you run this logic, the current data will be overwritten with the backup data. Before we get into the logic, let's take a look at the application and how it works. Assume we have lost data and need to restore it from a backup. Let us look through the folders so that we can understand how the application will function. We have lost the data, so the application's listing data folder is empty. However, we have a backup in zip format in our external storage system. I am using the same application that I used in the data backup tutorial. After logging in, choose roster listing data from backup from the menu options. On the next screen, after selecting the option, we will see all of the folders that we created during the backup. Choose the folder containing the data you want to restore from the list that appears. I will start with the first folder on this list. We will see a zip file named data.zip after we select it. When you tap this file, two options with an error message will appear on the screen. If we select the decompress option, we will see unzip files on the next screen. Choose a file from the list that you want to move to the application data folder. I have chosen the third file. With the message, we now have three options. The first option means that all files, not just the selected file, are moved to the application data folder. The second option means that only the selected file will be moved to the application data folder. The third file is to return to the menu screen. We will go with the second option here. When you select the second option, the third file from the unzipped files is moved from the backup folder to the application data folder and deleted from the backup folder. Repeat these steps if you want to move other files. Now we want to move the remaining files all at once. Choose any file, and this time select the first option from the list that appears. We will return to the menu screen as soon as we select the first option. Because we moved all of the files from the backup folder to the application folder. Let's take a look at both folders now. As you can see, the files are in the applications data folder, while the backup folder now only contains the data.zip file. In the supervisors menu, the index number is 15, and in the enumerators menu, the index number is 17. The logic will be the same whether you log in as a supervisor or an enumerator. If we log in as supervisor and the store index number in the dummy variable cell underscore option is 15, we will call the function unzip backup data. At this line, I am using two functions, Path.concat and path name, to get the path name, which I will use later as the root directory. On the second line, I am using Path.concat function instead of Path.concat. Even if I used Path.concat instead of Path.concat in this line, the result will be the same. Starting with CS Pro 7.5, you are encouraged to use the Path.concat function. We now use the path information we obtained in two different dummy variables to obtain the data backup file directory information by using the Path.selectfile function. The Path.selectfile function shows the operator a visual listing of the file system and return the path of the file the operator selected. Hidden and system files are not shown in the visual listing. The string expression message specifies the dialog's title showing the file listing. You can specify a string expression wildcard that is applied to filter the files shown in the visual listing. For example, static.csdb will show only CSPro database file. We can specify multiple wildcard filters by separating each filter with a semicolon. To specify the initial directory shown to the operator, you can specify a start directory path. You can also specify a root directory path. Specifying a root directory prevents the operator from moving to a location above the root directory. The back arrow is visible in the start directory path, but not in the root directory path. So you cannot move above the root directory. If neither are provided, the operator will initially see files starting in the directory where the currently running application is located and will have access to other files on that drive. You will see this screen after running this code. Choose the folder from which you want to restore data from the list that appears. And then on the next screen, select data.zip. The message that appears on the screen now follows this logic. In the message, I am passing two string arguments. I am using the same argument name with two different substrings in this message. Path and selections are saved as a string in this argument. This is what it will look like. -8 indicates that in the first argument, we get the last 8 characters and the name data.zip. Whereas in the second argument, we get the folder name from the 19th position to the right, which is 6 characters long. On the second line, the select keyword is used to give the option of specifying the field to go to in response to the message. Because we don't have any fields to go to in response to the message, we are using continue as the field name in our case. If we choose the first caption, these lines of code will be executed, indicating that we want to decompress the backup data. Otherwise, we move to the menu app_login ID field. The decompress function decompresses the compressed files contained in a .zip file. Give the path from which you want to decompress the compressed files in the brackets. After completing this task, call another function within function move_in data folder. Keep the value 2 in the dummy variable selection and use it in the while statement to run the loop. To indicate that we are only moving the selected file, and after the task is completed, a list of the remaining files will be displayed. The most of the logic in this function is the same as we discussed in the unzip backup data function and the tutorial on how to create a data backup. Concatenate the path and save it in the current data directory variable as we did previously. Get a count of the total files available after decompression. In the while statement, we will execute our logic. This logic will continue to run until the condition is met. These lines of code will be executed if the condition is met. In the filter, we use the .csdb extension rather than .zip. Because we have more than two captions, we use a dummy variable instead of if statement to store the selection. If we choose one, move all files, these lines of code will be executed, and once completed, the menu screen will be displayed. At this line, we will save the destination path in the dummy variable by using Path.concat function where we want to restore the data files. In the following line, use the file copy function to copy all of the CSDB files from the backup directory to the destination path. Then using the file delete function, remove all of the CSDB files from the backup folder. This does not imply that data.zip has been removed. Because we choose option 1, move all files, we will see a menu screen after running this code. If we choose to move only selected files, these lines of code will be executed. At this line, we will get the destination path. The file name will be obtained using the substring in the second and third lines. In the previous function, we already discussed how substrings work. Get a count after deleting the file on the fourth line. The cursor moves to the while statement to evaluate the condition because we choose option 2. The stored value in the selection is 2 because we choose option 2 the last time, and the file count is greater than 0, so this condition is true, and we will see a list of remaining files in the backup folder again. This loop will continue until either option 1 or 3 is selected, or all files are moved from the backup folder to the application folder. In this tutorial, I hope you learned how to restore data from the backup folder. Please see the CS Pro help for more information. Keep on learning and goodbye.